Welcome to Good News Week and the big news. 12 more sleeps to the election, if you can sleep. If you can't, try watching the campaign. Yes, with less than 2 weeks to go, both major parties have achieved the impossible. They've actually made time stand still. According to the polls, Gillard and Abbott are neck and neck. If only there was something going on above those necks. The word being bandied about government circles is hope. Hope. Also abandon and all. Labor is now claiming underdog status. I hate to tell them this, but they could have had that under Rudd. To ensure they stay the underdog, they're thinking of changing leaders. Again. First the coalition, now the ALP. Both parties want to be seen as the underdog, so they can pick up the pity vote. It's just a pity one of them will be our next government. The Prime Minister basically admitted her campaign had been a failure, so she's thrown away the rule book. I wonder if that's the same rule book that says you should never begin an election by stabbing the incumbent in the back. She's declared we're now seeing the real Julia Gillard. Apparently, the Julia Gillard we saw for the first few weeks was actually a robot. Sent from the future to kill Kevin Rudd. I am moving forward. I am And it nearly worked. Gillard's now in the unique position of having to reinvent herself before she'd actually finished inventing herself. The difference between the real Julia Gillard and the fake Julia Gillard is that the fake Julia Gillard would never appear so desperate that she'd declare herself the real Julia Gillard. And the fake Julia Gillard might have been better positioned to win a fake election, get into imaginary power and pretend to fight climate change. Meanwhile, the opposition leader declared he wouldn't be changing his ways. Unlike Julia Gillard, there aren't two Tony Abbotts. In fact, there's barely one. He said, if you elect Tony Abbott, you'll get Tony Abbott. If you elect Julia Gillard, you'll get the Faceless Men. Also known as, I can't believe it's not Tony. Abbott claimed, I think I'm a pretty known quantity. And that's true, he is a known quantity. There's one of him, which means you do get better value for money by voting for the two Gillards. Tony said we're now seeing him as a party leader. And the public expect a level of concern, of vision and breadth. No, we don't, Tony. We expect you to rock up in a leotard and tell us who Jesus hates this week. Oh, we're going crazy. But the old Abbott is still there somewhere. He's admitted that he's been straining to keep those loose lips under control. But if they sink a few ships, at least it'll cut our immigration numbers. Oh, stop it. The government's campaign has struggled to get back on track after a damaging series of leaks. Fingers have been pointed at Kevin, followed by the words, didn't you used to be the Prime Minister? But if the leaks aren't coming from Rudd, who are they coming from? One of the two Gillards? Huh? Let's think about it. Maybe the first Gillard was creating the leaks, which is why the real Gillard was called in to replace her. Labour insiders say there's only one way to improve the situation, some sort of stabbing spree. And that's the good news. Too close! A bit too close!
It's good news week. Someone dropped a bomb somewhere contaminating the atmosphere and blackening the sky. It's good news week. Someone found a way to give the running dead the will to live, go on and never die. It's good news week.
How would you do that to a man of my years? Thank you, good evening tonight, because we have a vision for Australia, the real Mikey Robbins. Making a triumphant return to the Opera House this week with Charming and Alarming, and nominated for a Helpman Award for Best Comedy Performer, the evil kitten, Kitty Flanagan. And from New Zealand, he's not just a comedian, but also the writer and director of the hugely successful new film Boy, the Kiwi star, Taika Waititi. And they're throwing the kitchen sink at the one and only Claire Hooper. Coming to Perth next week, and then Sydney in September with his hit show surprise, the Gen Y kid, Josh Thomas. And stand-up, top bloke, closet intellectual, Justin Hamilton. Who shall we talk to first?
Who else thinks Kitty should marry Taika? Is it going to be Kitty Waititi? That's all. It's just a beautiful name.
Kitty Waititi?
Hi, my name's Kitty Waititi.
I often get called Kitty Wear Titty, but
Just looking at you two guys, it's like how Tony Abbott would have liked Brokeback Mountain to have been made.
I don't think Tony would have liked it because Taika's not from here, so...
How are you, Taika? Welcome to our country.
Pretty good. Just by the way, I don't know any news from Australia. I have no idea who these people are you're talking about.
Yeah.
The last news that we got over in New Zealand was just the kind of stuff that Con the Fruiterer would tell us.
You're going back a long way with Con the Fruiterer, even for us.
These guys are really young.
Lovely to have you on the show.
Oh, thanks.
I'm a
for
great
having me.
admirer of your work. Both your short films that I've seen in various places, I think are beautiful. And you've got a feature film.
It's called Boy, the movie. You could Google it. Don't Google boy movies, but it's called Boy, and it's about you guessed it, a boy set in the 80s when Thriller came out. Who remembers that? I do. And
Some children over there, won't I believe we have a clip as well. Would you like to do that now?
too. Yeah.
This generation rules the nation with version. Kia ora, my name is Boy, and welcome to my interesting world. My favourite person is Michael Jackson. Want to see some Michael Jackson dance moves? My favourite subjects are art, social studies,
You have none.
and Michael Jackson. I have a 6-year-old brother called Rocky. He's got powers.
Hey, boy.
Boy,
Hey, boy. Big boy.
I'm named after my dad.
Can you stop calling me Dad? Sounds weird.
And actually looks good. I'm going to see that. Not too bad.
How are you, Kitty?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah. You've been nominated for an award.
Yes,
Is
I
that the
have.
first time?
Very much so. And if anyone doesn't know what the award is, don't feel bad. Neither did I. I had to Google it. And I was very excited. For a minute, I thought I was up against Kate Blanchett, and it was all the scandal that she hadn't been nominated. I thought, well, okay, that's because I pushed her out, but apparently not in the same category. So please don't send me hate mail that I cost Kate the nomination. I didn't. We're in very different categories there.
And you're up against a couple of
Girls.
people that are popular on this show. Yeah, a couple of women. Who are they?
Women. Will Anderson.
Yes.
And,
That'll teach you to wear toenail polish, won't
tweeting
it?
already. And Fiona O'Loughlin and Hannah Gadsby.
Oh, you're a shoo-in.
Oh.
Easy. Oh, you take that by a country mile. I've no
I
doubt.
don't know any of those people, so you're definitely going to win.
I didn't know any of them either. I had to Google them
Way
too.
better than
No.
them.
They're all really nice except for Fiona.
Good to have some honesty. How's Gen Y going?
I think we're doing okay.
Yeah.
People don't seem to like us. They don't like our work. I think we were much better looking than the older ones.
Yeah.
So... Wet. Do you know what happened to me the other day? I went on this...
I'd like to hazard a guess, but I'm sorry.
I went into news.com.au and they had this article, Gen Y money sponges, And then just for no reason, they put a photo of me next to it. Apparently I'm it. Apparently if you have a problem in your Gen Y, it's also my problem. I did it.
But you're the current face of Gen Y, aren't you?
That's a shame. That's a shame that this is the best face they could find.
I was going to say, it's odd that you do represent them, because you actually work, like, quite a bit. So, you seem like a strange...
Okay, no, yeah.
Because you look like you're spoiling for a fight now.
No,
I don't reckon we'd be an even match.
He's just...
Oh, how many people have tried to beat you up on this show? Fiona's beaten you. Who chased you around?
Tom Gleeson.
Tom Gleeson.
No, I was
reckon it's
actually
on.
putting myself saying I was weaker, like he could take me.
No, I think it's up. I think we're evenly...
It all depends if he's taken his Ritalin. Have you taken your Ritalin today?
I don't take it. The thing is, if I took the Ritalin, then I wouldn't be like this. Maybe I should take it.
I was just trying to compliment you, and
Yeah,
that's all gone
it's
horribly
fine. No,
wrong.
it was good. I love you.
Justin, is there anything you want to add to this wild carnival of fun?
Yeah, sure. If you get tested for anything and you have to get blood test results, don't Google before you get the blood test results, because it's always the worst news. I had a vitamin D deficiency. Turns out you're meant to get sunlight, but for 37 years I've been told don't go out in the sun, you'll get cancer. So what you need to do is you need to go out in the sun, go and get inside before that shit turns terrible, right? So I made the mistake of Googling. So what do? You Google, you got a cough, you Google, what does it come up? Cancer. You Google, I'm sneezing too much, cancer. I can't stop looking at beige walls, ask cancer of the face. Don't get on Google. Always the worst news.
OK, let's get stuck into our world then. Chapter 1 is What's the Story? Mikey, Kitty, Taika. Go to hell.
OK.
Oh, who's that? It's a fellow on a couch, some sort of... Oh, yes. It's maroon.
And
she's...
What was it? No?
Deep in. What is happening there? It's so confusing. What could it be about, I wonder?
Well, the Catholic Church obviously doesn't like bread.
The band.
They don't like me either, so...
Have you had a run-in with the Catholic Church?
Yeah, but, you know, why don't they just turn the other cheek and be real Christians about it and forgive me?
Oh, yeah. That's a guaranteed burning at the stake, that one.
What'd you get in trouble for, Kitty?
What did you do? I'm not going to say it again.
Go on.
No.
It'll be fine.
Did you say something?
It's okay. God would have heard it the first time. Yeah. And he knows you're thinking it.
All I'd like to say is I haven't been struck down, so you're all wrong.
OK, what's our story?
I'm not denying that a lot of our leaders have been devout Christians. Kevin, right? A devout Christian. But, yeah, let's be honest, some do amp up the God-bothering stuff come election time. Julia Gillard, when asked did she believe in God, said no, and so did the real Julia as well. And there's a third one too, it's the Holy Trinity of Julia.
And the Archbishop initially said he thought it might cost her votes, or told the Christians not to vote, or something. I'm misquoting you like you did me.
And what I say to the Catholic Church, as you've done with the Bible for the past 2,000 years while we're at it.
That was him. And then he backtracked and said no, they wouldn't. And basically, he seems to have missed the whole irony that if, you know, he's saying they won't vote for Julia Gillard, but then if we do vote for Tony Abbott, the whole country will go to hell. So, you know, he forgot to point that out. But I think it's something to do with the Archbishop and what he said about costing of votes.
10 points to take them into the game. The Catholic Archbishop of Perth and members of the Salvation Army have suggested Julia Gillard's atheism could cost her crucial votes. Archbishop Barry Hickey is concerned if Christians see an atheist succeed, they might get the false impression you can actually get what you want without praying to a fictitious and seemingly uninterested super being made up by a bunch of uneducated desert-dwelling sheep herders because television hadn't been invented yet.
just want to say, I didn't say anything half that bad.
That was pretty bad. I think that was pretty bad. That
Well, I don't understand what their point is. Like, shouldn't you be arguing that, you know, she's going to go to hell or something like that and not just, oh, you won't get many votes, so you should believe in God. That's the best.
But last time you came on the show, I thought the best thing you said was that Christians always, as an atheist, that Christians come up to you and say, you'll go to hell, and you think, well, I don't believe in God, thus I don't believe in hell, so what are you saying to me?
Yeah, I said it like that. I said it a bit better. But,
you did. If Gillard is elected, the church has also warned of a flood of Satanists, or goat people.
Tony Abbott will turn back the goats.
After some outcry, Hickey said he'd been misunderstood. His point was, if people who don't subscribe to any religion get stronger, we might have a repeat of what happened in Europe. You know, an age of enlightenment. Yeah, that's all right, isn't it? But while Julia may not be a Christian, her politics certainly draws on elements of the gospel, especially the bits with Judas. No, too much. Claire, Josh, Justin, put your money where your mouth is. Oh, who's that? Who could possibly be? Tony
Robertson, Victorian Gaming Minister.
What's going on there? I'm going to give you 10 points. You must know this one.
This is a Victorian story, obviously, yes.
Yes. He was making a suggestion that in around southeast Melbourne, you can where the pokies are, you can put a place for the kids to play, and which is not a bad idea because, you know, childcare is expensive. Do you know what I mean? So you just give $20 to Barry. Barry, keep an eye on those kids. That works out perfectly. I'm actually up for it. That's basically what the story is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the concerns are that possibly children being able to observe their parents in action on the pokies may encourage later gambling in their lives.
If they see it when they're young, they'll get better at it. Do you know what I mean? So
exactly.
Sort of getting young, get them there.
They'll know which machine.
Yeah.
I reckon it's wrong because I reckon if kids watch their parents on the pokies, they're not going to want to grow up to be a gambler. Because I know kids, they'll just want to grow up to be a pokie machine. Beep, 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 ding, 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 ding. 3 strawberries. I don't know how to be a pokie machine. That was me. Ding, 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 ding. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I don't know how to be a pokie.
Actually, look, I don't know how many of our audience play the pokies, and I don't play the pokies that much myself, but so just me, is the Queen of the Nile kind of hot?
Yeah. I just think that at the end of that impression, you missed out the old lady crying. It's ding, ding, ding. My pension's gone.
Sometimes they win, and that's why you keep going back.
Is that why you keep going?
Yeah, I only go when I need rent money. I put that money in. Sometimes I have rent, sometimes I don't, but it's fun.
When I was a kid, my dad, he worked at a place that made, like, plastic displays, and they made the clowns that went on top of pokie machines, and he brought one home for me. So now whenever I go and see those pokie machines, I have this weird, like, childhood funness where I'm like, oh, take my money, love me, Dad.
That explains a lot.
10 points, ladies and gentlemen, they do have it. A pub in Victoria has won approval to put a children's play area in their pokies room. But don't worry, the little ones will be surrounded by soundproof glass because psychologically it's not good for kids to hear their parents crying. But they will be able to see their parents gamble. And in keeping with the gambling theme, when you want to retrieve your child, you first have to catch them with a giant claw. Giant claw! A claw. There are lots of more fun things in a playroom than there are in the backseat of Mummy's car as well, like oxygen. And it's also a good way for youngsters to really understand what gambling is about. They get to see the money taken out of their piggy bank, put into a machine, and then watch Mummy while she tries to earn it back in the car park.
That was the one. That was the one.
So after one jackpot round of Good News Week, the Robbins team are on 10 points, the Hooper team 10 points. Coming up, songs, hats and special guests.